thank you all for being here. I hope you are enjoying the conference so far. I hope you enjoyed this talk as well. So, normal basic introduction. My name is Elias. I'm from Brazil. By the way, nowadays, the state I was born, I don't know if you guys are seeing the news. The whole state I was born is flooded. Even the city I was born. There's some cities that it doesn't exist anymore in Brazil, in the south of Brazil, because of this flood. So if you guys can contribute in any way, instead of me putting things here, you guys can search CNN. A lot of other international journals and websites are showing this and asking for help as well. Any help is really appreciated. A lot of people are running out of food and water, the most important things, basic things. So you guys can help. We really appreciate it. And it's not common, so there's a lot of people and entities helping there. So any help is appreciated. I'm a senior software engineer. I actually currently live in the Netherlands. That's why I'm one of the Java Magazine's Netherlands edition editors. I'm also one of the Java champions, and I'm one of the Oracle Ace for Java as well. So pretty much I work with Java, actually since when I started. So Java is being my priority language for a really long time. You can find me in any social networks like Twitter, LinkedIn, GitHub, where I put all my projects as ELIAS NOGUEIRA as well. Cool. Let's talk about this presentation. What I will show you guys is the basic thing that everyone shows during any presentation. I will show some boring slides, but the slides will show you how it's the basic stuff. And I will jump into my IDE and write some code because it's the most fun thing to do, right? But the slides have all the code as well. You see code on slides. I will just switch to my IDE. I will show you there. But the slides, the code in the slides are for you for a later reference, okay? You can ask questions at any time, and I will stop sometimes in the presentation to ask you if you have some questions to me. Cool? So, last thing, don't forget to give any feedback. So the platform has a section there to provide any feedback. Any feedback is appreciated, okay? So what the problems we want and we will solve with the data generation, actually. I believe you guys can correlate one of those three. There are plenty more, but like meaningful data. Sometimes you are trying to see some code or try to see some logs and you see something like that we cannot even read, right? Or you can see in the logs as well, let's say, some data requirements not being actually followed because imagine age as 0. It really depends on the context, right? But basically age as 0 doesn't exist for most of the context nowadays. And another problem, when we try to solve problems with data generation, is we are using fixed data as well. Of course, this is easy to solve because as soon as we run the second time the test, we can see, oh, it's failed because the data is already there. It just needs to add 1 or 2 or 3 at a number in the user or in the mail, etc. But it's not that helpful. And what is not helpful, mainly when you try to see a log or a response or anything, normally it's like this, right? When we try to generate data, we cannot understand anything, right? And some aspects of it can be wrong. As I was showing before, the age at 99. I believe we can go to, yeah, I believe I can be like alive until 99 years old, but yeah. And if you look at their latitude and longitude, it seems actually a little bit, not wrong, but a little bit weird as well. So how we can solve this kind of problems? Generating data with a library. There's a lot of libraries out there, but I will talk about one. And this one is Datafaker. Datafaker has generators for basically everything you need. Names, address, finance, business, internet, and more than 200 other ones. Half of them are for fun. I will explain why is that. And the other part of them is, as I call it, is serious business. So like generating IBAN, credit card, like personal information. Personal information actually, and that's why one of the aspects as well, why we use data generators like Datafaker instead of like data that we have in the company. Why you guys think we cannot use the data we have in a database stored in our company. It's 4 letters. GDPR. And I was doing this 10 years ago, using data from real users from production in my tests. But back in the days in Brazil, that GDPR doesn't exist. But it's wrong, actually, right? Because anyone has access to real personal information. I had access to any bank account information from the users. And this is dangerous because, okay, I was doing for the good, but there are people that can use this for other stuff, right? That's why these kind of libraries are awesome. What is the generator in a nutshell? It's super straightforward. The Datafaker is based on a YAML file. Yeah, YAML is horrible. But it's a YAML file. In this YAML file, there is a structure, let's say name, surname, first name, etc. And there's a range of a lot of different names there. And what Datafaker does, get randomly one of them and just throw to your code. Okay? There's more smart things, of course, but the basic structure is a YAML file. We have a provider class, which will be the provider, the name, the credit card information, the address information, etc. In the history, actually, in my history with this, is because Datafaker is based on a tool called Javafaker. And but this tool, back in the days, more than 7 years ago, wasn't being updated, and actually they were a little bit like closed for contributions. And this is horrible when you have an open source tool. So I was thinking about to create a fork and was asking around on Twitter, LinkedIn, etc., who wants to join. And there's this guy, Eric, who replied me, okay, I already did it. I'm improving it. And all of your pull requests in Javafaker are already in Datafaker merged you can use. And that's why Datafaker is now being let's say a continuation from Javafaker. But the contributions there, the pull request, they live there for like 1 day, maximum 2 days, because they are really open to accept any kind of contribution. And they created as well a way for extend how you can generate, and we show to you this as well. So it has some advanced concepts, not advanced concepts, but the library is pretty straightforward. But what I will show to you, basic providers, transformation schemas, how we can generate data for XML files from SQL files, JSON files. Sometimes we need, right? Or the file itself, or just the structure. We can use Datafaker for this. Real life usage with some design patterns, and how to create yours. We can create our own in a private space, only my project, my precious, or we can use in my precious and we can contribute back to Datafaker if you want. Cool. Base providers. We saw this before, like name, address, finance, business, etc. The API is super straightforward. Faker, which is the main object. So .name, .full name, generates a full name. Address, full address. Finance, IBAN. Business, credit card, etc. It will generate data for you. But let's see in real life. So what I will do, instead of using what I already have here, let's create one from scratch. And my data test. And I need your help. Well, let me remove this. Let me make it bigger, right? And void my test. I know that name is horrible. Don't judge me, just to create the things. So normally I will do here faker. Oops, faker. I will create the instance of faker. Now help me out. Which kind of data you would like to see here? IBAN. Wait a minute. Okay, IBAN. Address. 2 more. Car. I don't remember if we have car, but we have tires. It's weird. It's not weird, actually. I know the context of this one. One more? Birthday. Cool. What I'll do here, I use a string for everything, okay? Don't judge me as well, because we can, for some data, that can be a date or anything like it. IBAN. So, everyone can see it, read the code, right? Cool. Faker. Faker. Dot. I need to create an IBAN. There is no IBAN. but there is something called finance. And from the finance, I have the IBAN. Or from the finance, I can have a lot of different things. Not a lot, but few things. The IBAN, I can set the country code for IBAN. It's nice, right? Imagine I'm trying to use the IBAN from, I don't know, like German account and generate like account from Netherlands. It can be used for sure, but if I'm trying to do for the good and like the right test, I need to write like the locales. IBAN, BIC, credit card, routing number, etc. IBAN, cool. String address. And by the way, this is IntelliJ knowing what I do, so that's why it's super fast. When it's so address, faker, I need the full address. But if I don't need the full address, just to show the API, street address, city, postcode, building number, prefixes, country code, latitude, longitudes, a lot of different things here. Let's add a full address. Cool. What else? Car. I don't remember we do have car. Faker dot what is in the tires? Tires car. Tar we have. We don't have car unfortunately, but we can create one. But let me use tar. And for tar, this is really different thing because there's a lot of things that we don't know about it, right? Let me just do this. Yeah. Like code, aspect ratio, construction, ring size. Like that's weird things here, right? That I didn't know that exists for a tire. But let's use, I don't know, tar. No, tar I cannot use because it's the main. Let's see the aspect ratio. And string birthday, right? And faker dot date dot birthday. I can generate birthday as well. And I can even set the age. And this age I can generate, like if I just use birthday, generates from 18 to 65, or what is the other birthday? I can use a pattern or min and max age. So let's say in this context, I want from 1 to 90. Cool. What? Cannot be string. Should be a timestamp. Time. Stamp. Cool. And yeah. Just printing out birthday. Yeah. Cool. Just printing out. Not birthday. I want the IBAN. Yeah. Printing out address. And so TV. And printing out car. Which is not a car, which is tire, but anyway. Car, right? Cool, easy. Now what I will do, I forgot it's a test, but it's not a test, but just as a test, I will run it. And you guys can see here, right? Everything, super straightforward. The IBAN, the address, the something from the tire, and the birthday and timestamp. And what I can do as well, here on the faker, let's do something different. Like here at the locale, as China. Now we regenerate. Of course, IBAN will be IBAN. But look at the address. It's really localized. So you guys can use different locales and we'll generate based on all of different languages we do have. It's pretty nice, huh? It's really important for localization testing. It's really helpful. Questions about this for now? Anyone? No? UK. But UK, what is the, I can put in the double quotes, what is the locale for UK? The EG, no, E, come again? E, L, N, oh sorry, EN, GB. Okay, but there's no, I could do this for fake string, but like say locale dot UK. Cool. Let me remove this. Let's do one more thing here. So TV. So directly here I use faker dot name dot full name. Let's see if it's an English name, right? Let's run. Lucy Colping. No, right? Let's run again. No. I don't know. Doesn't look right as well, right? So we need to test more Datafaker. Dennis Harbor. For UK, we have problems. Yes.
Is there a way to, because if I put this in a unit test, my unit test input data will be changing on every run.
Yes.
Is there a way to keep it consistent?
You can use seeds, yeah. And you can make it consistent, yeah. I'm showing only random, yeah, but you can keep it consistent all the time as well. It's excellent question.
How do you do testing for special character in name and address, for example?
If I try to, like dots and commas and everything for the address, you mean?
Special character, like for example, Danish language has a O with this line in between.
Yeah. It's supported. If it's supported or if there's some tests, yes, it is supported and there are some tests for that there. Yeah. And for like Cyrillic language like Russian, Ukrainian, others like Bulgarian, like they have like the same support. Cool, let me continue here. So it's pretty nice, right? Now the second part, that is super straightforward. Now you guys know that you can use faker dot something and you can see a lot of generators. And from that generators, that is the extension of it, like name. There's a full name, partial name, etc. For all the generators, we have a lot of methods. And we have transformation schemas. What is transformation schemas? Basically, you can create a schema, which is the data generation, faker dot something dot something. But from this schema, you can say, okay, from this schema, generate a JSON file for me. Or JSON output, actually, not a file, because the file you can just write 2 more lines of code and can create a file. Or Java code, actually, or XML, or YAML, all the supported ones. How we can do this, I will show there, but just to explain here, I need the schema, and then I need the transformer. How I can do this through the code, and I will show directly into the code instead of developing this, and I will just make a nice pose for the picture, right? So how we can do this? I have here in providers, not providers, providers for later. Schema, cool. So let's say JSON schema, and then JSON schema. Down here, I have a schema, and I need to create in a specific way of Datafaker. So schema of, which is a map, actually. So I'm mapping name, street, secondary address, postal code, and city using the Datafaker methods. Cool? Super straightforward, the same way we did before, but inside a list of map. And now this retrieve composite schema, what I'm doing here in generating JSON output, I'm just creating a formality here, which is a JSON transformer. I have a builder for it. And from that builder, I'm saying generate from this schema to data. Cool? And I can generate 2, 3, 4, 5, as much as I can. I'm just creating an assertion, but just to see if it works or not. Here is the JSON. 2 items, right? Name, street, secondary address, postcode, and everything. Pretty nice, huh? And I can do this as well for a CSV file. If I need CSV file as well, by the way, one thing, the CSV file JSON, they share the same schema, but when you have really composed fields, like we do have in XML or sometimes in JSON, not in CSV, we can create, like based on a map, another map that can contain another map. Because in the end of the day, basically composable like files, like data in the files are basically map, right? Key in the value. So here is the same, and when I run this, and I will run the CSV first, I have a CSV output. using comma, but we can configure this. And actually using the same schema, I have one for SQLs. And I'm here using Postgres. I'm telling that the table will be my table, batch size is 5, I limit the data as 5 as well. Same thing. What? I run the CSV again, right? SQL data. Yeah, no, sorry, yeah. This here. And you can see insert into my table the columns and after the whole values. Even to, let's say, ingest data into the database just to have like some fake data in the database to run some, I don't know, integration tests within the database, we can use Datafaker. So we are expanding the possibilities from just a silly generator using like a builder to other things. Questions? Yeah, here and there. Go ahead.
To run again the one that generates JSON.
Yeah, sure. The JSON one, you saw an issue probably, right? I'm afraid right now. Yeah. Up. Here, yeah.
Never mind. I was looking for the breakers.
The breaker is there. Actually, 4 weeks ago, I fixed an issue on this. Because for if you generate only one, the brackets will be gone. Because on the one object, it cannot have brackets, right? For one, because it's not an array, it's a single object, so single object is a single object. It depends, but there's a configuration for this as well. Cool. There?
Yeah. If you just go back to the PowerPoint where you showed all the different formats that it generates.
Yeah.
Yeah. What confused me was the Java code one. Could you give?
I don't have an example, but what we use for the Java, I can generate a class with like, I can generate like a private string name, and the Java class, I can set the name with that value generated. It will generate basically a bean or a pojo with data inside in the class, initializing the class with some data.
And is it just limited to those sets, or is there more?
Yeah, no, it can be, you can have some list inside with some data, extra data. Instead of like, would be limits to 1, but if I add more, we have more. I should add an example for Java because it can be tricky, right? Yeah, cool. One more.
Can you extend your Faker to have your customized fields and feed your own data?
I will show this. Yes, I will show this in a minute. I have 7, so yeah, we'll get there. Oops. Cool. So continue here. Transformation schemas, all the things that you guys can see later. By the way, this project you guys see, real life usage. Cool, you guys learned how to generate data, super easy. If you guys need to generate like files or like need to use that kind of output from different files, you can use. But how we can use in real life? It's easy. There's 2 terminologies we use. One that I like most is a test data factory. But you guys probably read about the object model pattern to generate data. They are the same thing. And to create this approach, we need a model, just a class, base class, using factory design pattern and using a tool. So a model we can generate. Factory design pattern, super simple. And a tool will be Datafaker. So what we can do in this way, let me show the code, not this. Let me close all. Yes. So what I have here, a model where I have here name, email, username, and password. Simple things, okay? And I have a builder for it. Of course, I'm not using Lombok. If you guys can get rid of it, get rid of it as well. So I have my builder here. Super straightforward. And now what I can do actually. I have here a class, a factory class, where I have a method, valid user. What I'm doing here, I'm using that user object and filling in with some data. So name, you have faker, name with middle name. Username, you have username, and so on. Cool? So what I'm doing here, creating basic data for different test scenarios and edge cases for my tests. So I have the valid user, let's say in this context. So if I want to use password not matching with minimal requirements, I can generate the data as well, but in the password section, I can just add what is my business rule for it, and I will generate an user which is not matching this criteria, or any other criteria you guys would like to create. Understood? Super easy, right? Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, why did you, what difference does it make by making a final, the data, and not you score?
Because I'm using static. In this my factor, everything is static. I could create a factor of objects with new objects actually, but in this decision, I just use in final and make it everything static. In the test, this is nice. So, real case test. So what I have here, simple things. So for valid user data factory, valid user. So I'm using this user object, assert that password length is between 8 and 16, which is my requirement, let's say. Okay, for a valid one. Or not meeting the minimal requirements, use the data factory, but using password not matching minimal requirements, and then assert that the length is less than 11. So I can start testing it without hard coding things as well. And every time that I run, it will be generated, the main one will be generated between 8 and 16, and this less than 11, and will be all the time a random one. And just make sure I'm logging this data. So we can see here that we have the user created for valid user here, with everything valid, and the passwords here. And I have the one that password is not between 8 and 16. It's less than actually. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6? It's 5. Cool? Easy? Question?
Is this data only providing the length and range of the size of the 3 to 5, etc., or can you define it should include a specific character, etc.?
You can include special characters and everything you want. Yeah. So for this, yeah. No, it's already there. I will add this as example later. So in Datafaker, it's called expressions as well. You can create different expressions to generate everything you want. Instead of generating like the text, I want the text without the letter N. You can create an expression and just generating everything without that. So it's possible.
If you wanted to use, can you get it to generate sort of like names with apostrophes and things like that to guard against, say, SQL injection attacks?
From the providers we do have, because it's based on a YAML file, no. But you can create an expression as well to create it.
And is there any way to get the same name in, like you've got the username, the email address, and the name?
The matching, yeah, unfortunately no, because what they have and like we have designed for this, it's not a full match enough for everything. And what I do when I want a full match, I actually create the same like name. I create an internal name class, and as soon as I generate the name, I try to split it and convert it to set an email for that and username for that. But like unfortunately, it does not provide this. I have 1 minute, and if you guys can stay here for 1 extra minute just to show the last thing, that is the what if I need to generate my custom one, right? This is really important. I created an easy one, and for this I will show partially my IDE, partially the slides, just for you guys to follow as well. Let's go. So, how to create yours? There are 3 simple steps. First, you create a YAML file, because remember, everything is based on a YAML file. Second, you create the provider class, because after we write faker dot, we need a class that can match that. And we need the custom faker that will put everything together, and then we can use all the keys from the YAML as methods later, like full address, partial address, etc., etc. How we can do this? YAML file. Oops. I'm creating one from Java conferences, okay? So super straightforward. The pattern for the YAML file is English, because I'm using English language. If it's another language, you just add the key of the locale in a different YAML file. Datafaker, and then you can use, I'm using Java conference as the main one, and then names for Java conferences. Cool? Super easy, right? Let me explain through the slides and I will show the code. Second part, I need to create this provider class. The provider class needs to extend abstract provider, and from that abstract provider, I have this, I can create my constructor, injecting using the base providers, and just setting the locale, the normal is English, and please get the YAML file from my resource folder, doing this match, okay? And it will be resolved. And then this class is Java conferences, so I'm resolving the name. So now I'm doing the connection, this connection. After Java-conference, I have names. And I could have names, locale, I don't know, topics, etc. So here, I'm creating a method, name, and it will resolve Java conference.names. So as soon as I use faker.javaconferences, if I type doc again, I can have the name there, and you'll be doing this match. And then the last thing is connecting everything together. So my custom faker, for example, extends faker, and I can have the provider and create those connections. How this in the usage looks like. My custom faker, why I have my custom faker? Because you are extending it, right? For your own. You're not adding into Datafaker project. So that's why we have a custom one. And you can name it whatever you want. I could name Java everything. So my custom faker, it's not faker.javaconference.name. And this my custom faker will show you everything that is faker dot is from the open source project. Everything my custom faker, it's only internal usage. Cool? So .name, I added here with a country, but I remove it, so it will generate. I will show the generation, and we basically are done. So no provider. What I do have here, as soon as I run, exactly the same thing. Java event, my custom faker, Java conferences name. It will generate one of the ones that I have in the file, so jfall. If I run again, now it's JavaZone. And if I run, we'll be getting a random data from my YAML file, okay? So let me just jump in. Yeah, here. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. I will be around here if you have any questions. This slide deck is the link for the slide deck plus the project I'm using here. The left one is if you need to provide an extra feedback. Out of the two from Devoxx, don't do this, use the Devoxx tool, but if you need to get extra feedback, you can use that one, okay? Thank you all for being here, for your questions, and see you soon.